to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, everybody have a chance to review the minutes. Can I get a motion? Motion, a second from Harvey, thank you. Any discussion? Any corrections, errors, deletions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move right into PS1. Resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office, transfer from Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office to Automotive Supply and Repair, Road Division. You're right, this one's horrible. Can I get a motion? We got a motion and a second. John, you want to talk about it? I don't see that.
It was originally put in off to go to repairs. We did change that, so it gets split between automotive equipment and automotive repairs. Two different lines. One is to replace a vehicle that was totaled. That was the one, unfortunately, we canceled. The accident.
All right, so
So
you got an
replacing that,
amendment.
the other is just going for a car gear for $1,600.
So we need a motion to amend the original resolution to split the total amount of $45,86144 and $1,664.80 to equipment. Can I get a motion to amend? Motion, got a second? Thank you. Any discussion on this? Mr. Castillo,
On the amendment or the whole?
on the amendment?
Not on the amendment.
Okay. And none? Okay, all in favor on the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, back to the original. Any discussion? Mr. Castillo, go.
I've discussed this before in committee. What number is this? How many have we had?
I don't have the number. I did research them, and we're pretty much about the same amount of accidents. It's just that we're probably doing more through insurance. We used to fix them through the repair lines because vehicles were a lot less expensive. But our total number of deer accidents or animal accidents, probably in the last 14 years, I think he went back, are almost the same every year. We fluctuate, and I've got a folder at my desk, but I didn't bring it with me today.
The ones that I got from Mr. Church, like I brought it up, I think, not the last meeting, because I brought it up this meeting
About 3
before
months
that.
ago.
We were ahead of what we had started when I started in 2014. But and at that time, we were doing somebody was doing an investigation, do a study on it. Was somebody from your what Lieutenant
Basil did pull the reports up for us.
Okay, so has he found any common denominator as to how these are? It's good. It's one. I'm looking at safety as a
I think his vehicles are more expensive, and we're putting more through insurance claims. So the number of accidents, I don't think has really changed. Frank, I could get you that. Like I said, I have a folder on my desk that Lieutenant gave me with all the accidents for, I believe, the last 14 years.
All right, I just looking to see what the common denominator is on it.
Unfortunately, we do a lot of driving, and there's a lot of deer on the road. We do the vehicle training every year now. We're back to doing it, and there was some years with COVID that probably didn't do it, but I don't know if that helps with a car gear accident.
I don't know. I mean, I drove, I didn't, drive at the speed that, some of the, accidents may have happened at or whatever. But, I drove for 25 years in the school district out in the country roads and county roads, and I never hit deer the whole time. But not saying that they weren't there, but it just, it's a different type of driving. One, I'm transporting children, so I'm going a lot slower, so I see them a lot quicker. But just I hope that it changes a little bit. Hopefully, we can get them down a little bit.
Keep in mind, over $1,000, you do an accident report, a state accident report. A mirror now is $1,100. So before a mirror was $200, you fix it yourself, and then nobody said anything. You pulled it down below, the guys down below would fix it. But now when everything's being as expensive as it is, and then you're doing the action report, turning it in.
I understand that, looking to see what, if there was any common denominator with what, how they were happening, that's all. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other discussion? Kirk?
Well, I think the common denominator is the deer. We don't educate them too good.
Everybody, you know, I was waiting for you to say something about the deer, and how the last time you said, well, you know, the deer are being chased, and in July, they're not being chased. That's when a couple of them are being hit. Okay?
Well,
I understand.
common denominator is a deer.
All right, let's move back to the original here. All right, we can discuss the behaviors of deer that are
Better be.
all in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Coming back.
All right, let's move on to PS2. Resolution authorizing capital project number 1524 County Fire Emergency Service Storage Building. Motion. Motion. Second. Thank you. Okay?
So what we're looking to do with this is architecture and engineering study, to approve that, to build a large storage building. And also I have had some input since that request, so we're going to look at that when we talk to, if it's awarded, architectural and engineering, see if we can incorporate some of the ideas that came forth. We're running out of room. We don't have anywhere to store anything anymore. We've taken on a lot more equipment, a lot of EMO stuff, 911 stuff, because they have the same problem. So we move typically their stuff for them a lot. So we're looking to get it out of the weather and put it indoors.
And to add to that, the state did give us flood mitigation equipment, which requires some storage to it. We're talking light towers, also generators and some pumps and a lot of stuff that we need to keep stored indoors. And
Understood.
National has been very gracious to store some of that stuff.
Okay. So this is in the amount of 170,000. Area
Yeah, that's
architectural
architectural.
drawing. Okay. Mr. Castillo.
How big a building we're talking about?
When we talked to them originally, it was 120 by 80. So just under, 9,600 square feet.
Herb?
I think that's a good idea to get the equipment inside. I could support this 100%.
Yeah, I think we all, right? I don't think that there's any doubt about that. We gotta protect our equipment at the last number, right? Makes sense. No brainer.
Is this 1 or 2 floors?
It's one, but we talked about putting a mezzanine in. So again, through architectural and engineering, we'll have to ask those questions. Because it depends on what we do with it. It might change obviously the end price. If we put people in there to stay, it's probably going to need a sprinkler system. So there's a lot of variables in there that we're going to have to take into consideration.
But it makes sense to do it all now.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Let's not do it and then think about it, try and do renovations down the road or build something else, right? Just try and fit it all into one. Right.
This is just a study, right?
This is to draw up the plans, check the facility, make sure where we want to put it is it's acceptable for building codes, environmental studies, that type of stuff.
And how much we looking at, you think?
The bid come in at 164-ish.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for, you know, the
Well,
the building
There's
itself.
8 submittals and they range between 1.5 million and 7. So, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be in the 2 to 3 because the majority of those 8 were right in the same area. But that's what the projected as of this moment.
What large equipment are you putting in?
All our trailers, light towers, VMS boards, pumps, generators,
Communication trailer.
communication trailer, 911 generator, Kathy's trailers.
Any other questions? I'm sorry, you done, Frank?
Think so, for right
Okay.
now.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. All right, PS3, resolution awarding professional service contract RFP 25 Fire 003 A&E Service Emergency Service Storage Building. Did we just do that? No. This is for the building itself?
No, that's for the, so I think the first one was,
First one was setting up the capital
Setting the
project to
capital.
pay for it, the second one is awarding the contract.
Okay, okay, I got you. All right, so can I get a motion? Motion, we got a second, thank you. All right, so this is awarding the contract, right? So let's talk about the bids. And
So as, Lindsay mentioned, the company that we chose was honestly the lower of the projected build costs. But again, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen, so, but they were the cheapest. I did do some references. I did call around. My wife does work in that type of industry, so I followed up with some of the people that she's done business with in the past, and the company comes highly recommended. So that's where the $170,000 is going to go to VIP structures. I think is who we're proposing.
Yeah, the architecture. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're on PS 4. Resolution authorizing creation of capital project 1625 to renovate 911 center. Can I get a motion for discussion? Motion, got a second? Kevin, you're up.
So we have an opportunity here to try and take advantage of some grant funding as well as some prepaid maintenance funding that we have, and prepare ourselves for next generation 911 as well as do some very much needed updates to the 911 center. The 911 center has been in service since late 1996, been used 24/7, staffed 24/7 since then, except for during COVID. We did have our night shift moved to the backup center in Fulton during the 7 months or so that we split shifts, and then once a month we do a 24-hour stint down at our backup site. So this includes the replacement of our 911 call handling system, which is the phone system that we answer the 911 calls and make all our phone calls and stuff from. That's 100% funded out of the New York State Next Generation 911 grant, NG911 grant. The replacement of the radio dispatch consoles, which is the radio interface between the dispatchers and the end users that are out in the world. That's about just shy of $800,000 that is covered in our maintenance contract that we get a upgrade once every 5 years or so of that. And between those two projects alone, that's going to gut 2/3 of the equipment that we have in 911, which is pretty much the meat and potatoes of what we do besides 4 other PCs that are at each of the dispatch positions. For the computer-aided dispatch, for the standalone PCs, for our advanced telecommunicator positions, and then added in e-justice interfaces that are at each of them. So we're removing that amount of equipment and replacing it. I think it's a good point in time to try and figure out a way to do a renovation. We have, like I said, we have to pull everything apart anyways, and those pricing and those costs are already included. If we were to wait to do any of the rest of the equipment on there, that would then require additional funds to have us remove the equipment that we've had put in during these projects and then put them back in. With the proposal that I put in front of you, there is a significant amount of cost savings in there. Most 911 centers across the state would require a consultant to come in and do this work and manage the project and stuff. I'm more than capable of being able to take care of that with the technical support staff that we have in place. We'll be doing a large majority of the hands-on work and stuff ourselves. But we do need some electrical upgrades that obviously we can't do, so we're going to need some assistance with that. The largest portion of that being a electrical system upgrade and UPS purchase for the backup center in Fulton. Right now, we currently have little uninterruptible power supplies that sit at each of the dispatch positions, which is a battery backup. Those work, but the problem is we don't know when they fail until they fail. When they fail, you just don't have any power, and it doesn't let you know that they're not going to work. So somebody could be in the middle of a 911 call, and that little box fails on us, and we have no idea, and it could drop up a 911 call in the middle. The way the system currently is, that should put it on hold, but we've never actually tested that to be able to pick one up. But we desperately need to do a UPS upgrade down in the backup site. Also includes replacing the furniture that we have at both of the primary site and the backup site. Right now, at the backup site, it's just tabletop bench styles seating that we have there, set on some furniture that we had acquired from on a one back be about 15 years ago or so at this point, that was old for them, and none of the drawers or anything would work on that anymore. Get us to ergonomic equipment that would allow for multi-location, nothing like what we would have at the primary site though. Primary site would replace our 29-year-old equipment at this point that, like I said, has been used 24/7. That furniture has cabling and stuff that's in it that has been long out of date, no longer supported since well before I came to the county. We've been purchasing cables and stuff for like ATVs off of eBay and stuff to try and keep things going together. And we're really at a point where I think if we're going to do this other work that's already in cost, that it really makes sense for us to move forward and try and clean all of this stuff up. There was a plan back in 2016, I believe, that had been discussed about building a new emergency management office and 911 center that was tabled at that point in time, but an upgrade needed to be done at that point in time. In 2000, we had worked on a plan to do an upgrade to the 911 center. At that point in time, we were only looking at, it was going to be a little less than $1 million or so. Now we're where we are now because we put that on hold due to what was going on with COVID, and there was no way we'd been able to take on a project during COVID anyways. But, so that's pretty much where we are and what we have going on. All of the cost breakdown that I have in there is I tried to give you guys as much information and stuff ahead of time. So I know it's a huge ask, but I think we're kind of at a position which, that we're tearing 2/3 of the stuff out and won't be that much big of a deal to take care of the rest of it. So,
Yes. All right, any discussion?
Is there any other grants out there that we can apply for to help with this?
nothing that applies to 911. Or again,
Is this gonna change the budget?
This is separate, this would be a capital project. You're using some funding that's made for it, but it doesn't affect the tax levy in any way.
With this amount of renovation, is there any way to break it into pieces? I mean, we got a $600,000 furniture cost here. We not cool.
The concern has been 7 at a fund balance for this project. Right?
Understood.
That's the concern. So,
I mean, the only way that we could possibly do that is to do like the backup center portion of it, which I did not break out those costs. But there would still be a portion of furniture that we should do there, as well as the recording system. I didn't mention that earlier, the recording system that needs to be done down there also. That's another piece of equipment that is out of support and no longer is being serviced. So if that goes down, we can't use the backup center unless under emergencies, and we won't be able to record any of the phone calls that are down there. But so I mean, so we could do that portion of it, but we would still be with the grant and the radio upgrade. We would still be gutting 2/3 of the 911 center. So, which there would be obviously additional costs down the road if we were to end up doing that additional work.
I know it's old, but is it feasible to take it from the main to furniture and put that in the back?
It's too big, it won't fit down there. If we had a bigger room, then yes, it definitely could be. But yeah, unfortunately, the way that the console configuration is set up, it wouldn't fit in the room to give us 10 positions still.
Is that, Kevin, is that grant, the $1.5 million, is that time specific?
So there's it's a 5-year performance period that's on that. However, the funding, the original quote that I got was $1.8 million for the replacement of that equipment, and Motorola is giving us an option if we were to sign it before the end of the year. Of course, they want to pad their pockets, but that they get it down into that 1.5. So they're giving us about a $300,000 discount to sign that. Work still probably won't be done until the end of next year is when we were, projecting to be working on that, because there's a lot of moving parts to the whole thing. The phone system by itself, honestly, is a big lift.
Can we make an amendment to further discuss this? Motion to amend?
You have to make a decision now, though, right, by the end of the year?
Got a question.
well, the question that had come up, and was, how much of this is the 1.7 million, right? So how much of this can we get done without tapping into 1.7 million, Kevin? I guess that's what we're getting at.
The phone with into the 1.7 million, it's just the phone replacement and the dispatch contract, the other stuff. All of the rest of the stuff isn't. So,
Can we survive with that for right now?
I mean, we can. I mean, without the UPS upgrade and the phone replacement.
I think there's just more questions about where the 1.7 million is going, right? Other legislators before this committee happened, right? So I got a phone call saying, hey, what's going on with this? So I would like to amend it to approve all the technology stuff that you absolutely have to have, and then we can table the rest of it for further conversation in coming months.
Okay.
That make sense, everybody?
Does that mean you're gonna lose 300,000?
If we approve the 1.5, that would make it so we are able to sign that contract and save that 300,000. The 800,000 we don't need to approve. There's no monies that need to be moved for that because it's already included in that maintenance contract. So that money's already in there.
Any discussion on that?
I got a question. You said that if this is already pulling out 2/3 of everything,
Correct.
if we go ahead with renovations at a later date, is that 2/3 stuff going to have to be pulled out and then reinstalled again?
Yes.
And does that, any idea of what that would do to increase a renovation cost down there?
It'd be all type of materials. So I have no idea on a cost on that, but that's the majority of the work to provide equipment to be removed. It's all the manual labor. The rest of it is, like I said, is just PCs, removing, disconnecting monitors and power cords and everything that we would be doing. So that would all have to be done. That's all done by vendors.
And the electrical system UPS upgrade, for the battery backups, since that's a safety issue, that's $125,000 that would come out of fund balance, right?
Correct.
The
recorder is another, it's 650,000, but that's another one that we're really on the edge, because if that goes down, I can't use it unless for an emergency, and we won't get any recordings during those. So we've really been balancing that for a while, and every time it comes back to life, it's a deep sigh of relief that I'm not running to you guys saying, hey, we really need to do this. So.
All right, so I guess in a nutshell, we amend this. Tell us exactly what you really need. Eliminate furnitures and carpets and walls and ceilings. Just give us the nuts and bolts on the technology.
So I'd say,
How's that?
yeah, we're not removing.
That sound reasonable?
Very slow to get a chance.
It's not minor stuff, but, when we put in that original, the backup, Bolton, we EMO money. I can remember, getting into a rather heated discussion at the time doing it. And there's
The
no
room renovation, yes. The technology stuff there, and most of that I got covered through the state interoperability communications
This was back
grants.
in 2015, 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2020 was when we really built out the backup center to actually function.
But it was when we set that up, okay?
Right.
It was EMO money that came in that was able to help us with that. I was wondering if there's any way that any of that can be used, to keep you be able to, do the renovation on it at the backup center. And the other issue was, at one point in time, they were gonna buy $1,000 chairs. Get $1,000 chairs again, I voted against that.
No, we do not need to replace any chairs.
Okay.
So those have 10-year warranties on them, and they're all well within warranty at this point.
Tariffs,
Starts at 1,500 now.
They probably are.
well, I would say, but, there's chairs you can get for, a lot less, do the same thing. But if there's any EMO money, I think that's, look at, and it's not coming from, I just thought, because of what it is, and what it's there for, and since we get a lot more money, you get a lot more money to help us cover things
Oh, yeah.
from the new plants. Okay, but you don't have that anymore.
Yeah, we do grants, but we don't,
Well,
yeah.
we got a lot more money.
All right, so reel us back in, Kev.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you a number here.
We can approve all the grant funding stuff today. And
Right, I mean,
you
it's
can
gotta
come
be
back
time,
next
so
month and
if that's as far as you want to go for right now, so that way I can give you some firmer information as opposed to just flying off the cuff. I feel more comfortable about that.
Okay, and that we would be able to still capitalize on the deal with the railroad.
Correct.
Right. So, we got a motion to amend, the request to just the grant funding, and
So yeah,
purchase request.
I'll give you a first.
You got a second. You got a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, back to the original as amended. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You opposed? Motion carries. Okay. You're not saying completely no to all this, Kevin. You just need more information, more time to diet, all right? So maybe break it down into pieces and bring it back to us. Okay. Where are we? We're on PS. Is that it? Right on the back? That's it then. All right, that's it for resolutions.
That's actually for infrastructures for review. Maybe it's on here for your situational awareness.
It's on ours, but they pushed that over.
Yeah, it's probably for your situational awareness, but this is being brought to infrastructures for review.
So tell us about it anyway.
So, we worked with County Highway Superintendent to find a reasonable location in the northern part of the county to store a Red Cross trailer for shelter use, so as cots and blankets and stuff like that. They just needed a place to park it, and Sean found an area at the Pulaski Highway facility that we can put it into. So that's what this is for. There was an inclusion in there to show you exactly where the location is, but it's for a 2-year agreement. We can look at it again in 2 years to see if it's still suitable location for them.
Terrific. Rich, did you want to come?
Infrastructure would approve it up to 2 years under local law, so that's why infrastructure has the approval of it.
Okay.
Okay. Good.
All right, let's move on to department reports. I don't have anything, I don't see your local law. Right? Cool.
It's in there for discussion.
I don't see it in the agenda. Okay. All right, so let's move on to reporting departments, emergency management.
Okay, well, I took an opportunity, since this was our last meeting for the year, and I just kind of did a year in review of all the stuff that we were either involved in from activities, initiatives. I broke down to a 4-page report. So for your leisure reading to keep you awake at night. To give you a couple of highlights, really a lot of initiatives, radiological, non-radiological. There's some information on the drone program, and appreciate all the support you guys have given us for this past year for all those initiatives, keeping them active and to the forefront. A couple of new things. We did support the Layus Novellis fire for the county fire coordinator. We sent some staff out there to help with public information logistics support. So we don't usually go on scene very often, but it was good exposure for our staff. So that was a great initiative to be involved part of. Tomorrow is the biannual siren test, so all sirens in the county in the 10-mile PZ will be going off. So just wanted to give you a hear them. It's just a test, normal test. Other than that, we have not heard anything on the 2 grants that we generally get awarded in 2025 yet. I don't think we'll hear from them this year yet. So one is the State Homeland Security Grant, and the other is the Emergency Management Performance Grant. So those are ones that we need to count on for projects. So still out in the woods somewhere and on their way home. So I don't know what that'll look like for us for next year. So those are some of the grants that we generally do get from the state and federal government that we have not received yet. So, other than that, I didn't see that the EMS report was included in this, so...
I was just going to bring that up, right?
Yeah.
So EMS, our deputy clerk, EMS was not included on reporting departments, nor was search and rescue.
He forgot to send his, but I do have search and rescue copy of that. I think he was too late to get his in. He doesn't have the capability of entering it into that program, so it was advised to us for him to receive the department, but he did make some copies.
Is it because they didn't submit them? Is that whether or not?
I submitted the EMS report separately.
Okay.
Search and Rescue doesn't submit them electronically. They don't have access to the platform, but I mean, they're welcome to send it to me and I can send it.
That's fine. That's the point I'm making is why it's not on the agenda. Oversight?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just make a note to correct it, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Nate, you're up. But any questions for Kathy? I'm sorry. Nate, you're up.
Sure. Our EMT class that was hosted down in Phoenix is testing out this Saturday. Our current enrollment has remained steady the whole class, 7 regional students, 6 refresher students. First class in a long time where the number of students we started with is going to be the number of students we finish with. So usually we always lose a couple through scheduling conflicts or grades or whatnot. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed after their final exams later this week that we finish with those numbers. So very hopeful about that. So
Now, Nate, is that the lab final?
yes, so their written exam, their final written exam for the course will be Wednesday, I believe, or is it Friday? It's either tonight or it's Wednesday. And then the hands-on practical examination will be Saturday. And after that, all students will get an email from the New York State Division of EMS to take their state written exam. So, very excited about that. That class has been running very well. It was taught by an instructor this was his first solo class since getting approved to be an instructor, and he's done a fantastic job. So it's been working out very well. And we do have approval from New York State to run an additional EMC class in Fulton early next year from January to May. So partnering with Workforce New York on offering some assistance for those who need it to take those classes. I was able to attend the New York State EMS conference. It was in Syracuse this year. Learned a lot of interesting things on new practice and applications. So hopefully some stuff we can bring to our program. And we're excited about that. Just like everywhere else, there's a large emphasis on the mental health aspect of our first responders and stuff. So and with that, me and Shane, and we're still working towards developing a stress management team for EMS and fire. And I will say too, there's been a really large outpouring of offering support from the sheriff's office, from all these other entities who have programs set up to help us get ours up and off the ground how we want stuff. So it's been really awesome as well. So hoping early next year we're going to start pulling a team together and give our fire and EMS people some resources that they can use after some of these tougher calls. So more to come on that too. Other than that, just continued with the normal meetings and attendance and
Very good.
keeping up with the EMS agencies. So.
Any questions for Nate? Hearing none, let's move on. 911, Kevin.
So call stats and stuff are at the top. As far as overview of things, still very busy with consortium governance project stuff. We also did have a technical subcommittee that continued to chair. We had a community safety initiative meeting and provided updates to them where we are. We are moving into phase 2 of the critical response group mapping projects for all of the school district buildings as well as the county office buildings. So all the maps are completed. All the maps are completed at this point. Yep.
Are they integrated into the system yet?
We haven't integrated into the call handling side of things at 911, but their GIS person's working with our GIS person to get them into the CAD maps to get them out to the first responders within CAD. I'm working with each district to get a on providing the information to the end user agents. I've got about half of the school districts that replied back to me at this point, and they reached out and started setting up the rights and privileges and stuff to get those agencies into those. So we're making good progress on that now. So I just got to get the other half.
That's awesome. It's taken a long time to get this going, but
Yeah,
it's fantastic to see
Yep.
it finally
Yeah,
being
it's
implemented.
very, very, on the, like I said, the call handling side of things for us, being able to see a call populate and then be able to drill down and, look at the different floors and stuff on there. And, the additional information is, it's blowing the mind of some of our call takers and dispatch staff, which is a good thing. That's what we were hoping for. So as we get into CAD, it'll become even more, information for the responders and stuff, which will be helpful. The Aware video side of things, we're waiting on the county to do our upgrade for our camera system, so that way it will be able to connect into that project. We are continuing to work with New York State to get more of the state cameras in. We have a couple in at this point. The big thing with that at this point seems to be the interface pieces. Everybody says everything can connect and everything can talk, and you connect it, and then you don't get half the information that you're supposed to get. So they're working through that. They've made it work. Everything that we're trying to do, they've made work in other places. It's just working through the nuances that we have. So. Technical dispatch and communication support, we're continuing building out our incident communication center trailer, which is a couple backup positions. And then since this was reported, we went back out and spent the day with Shane out working on site, supporting the fire out in Novellis. Which we utilized the things we learned the first time, and they made things go better the second time. Not that they went bad the first time, but I think they went smoother from the incident command side of things. So. We do have 2 of the advanced telecommunicators that we've sent for incident tactical dispatcher certification. They took a course, or they're taking a course, I should say. Then they'll be certified in that. They'll be working towards their Part 107 drone licenses after we get that completed. Next Generation 911. I still continue to be on the NENA, Nationwide Next Gen group, as well as the New York State working groups. And I attended a GIS training in Auburn that gave us some real insight onto how differently everything's going to be working in the future. Where it's this next generation 911 stuff really should be now generation 911 stuff, because everything that we're talking about that we have in 3 to 5 years is stuff that we should have had 3 to 5 years ago. So it's stuff that your cell phone can do today, and we can't do it in the 911 world. But beyond that, the only other thing I want to mention is that we did have 4 additional dispatch staff complete peer support certifications so now our peer support group, instead of being 2, is now 6.
That's awesome.
So some good movement there, which is helpful to our staff. So.
No, I got a few questions. Just one in particular is the 93 total drone in the box flights. How's that working out?
So it's working out good. Our main pullback on that has been that most of the month I had one dispatcher, one advanced telecommunicator that was flying. The other one had training and then had a sickness, and she was in the hospital for a little while. So that held us back, as well as training. So our recruit class has made it out of 5 out of the 6 made it out of the classroom. As of today, they're on the dispatch floor. So that's going to be a huge shot in the arm. They will be released the first week of January. Yeah, the end of the first week of January is when they'll be going to their shifts. So another month we'll be doing better than we are. So, but it continues the path of cross-training and moving people around.
Did we get it set up on that lake?
So we've got 1 trailer that's down in Manchester right now. Tech team's been working on building out 3 additional ones. 2 are going to be ready to go here, probably if not by the end of this week, by the end of next week, and they'll be getting deployed down there, probably West Monroe area and Constantia Town Highway, I believe, are the 2 new locations down there. So that'll give us 3 along an Ida Lake.
So do the 911 calls still support having it there on the lake? I got a lot of calls on it, because that was what
I mean,
putting it there, right?
I mean, we don't have a ton down there.
Now you probably wouldn't, but
well,
of the boating season.
I mean, we did just in the past couple of weeks. We had a couple water rescue incidents, which honestly, this time of year, it becomes more life-threatening with the weather and the temperature dropping. That hypothermia becomes a very big concern very quickly, as opposed to in the summer, you fall off a boat, you can hold on to it for half an hour, not a big deal. You can't do that this time of year. So, I mean, the big thing down there is trying to, reduce, and minimize the amount of man hours that are being spent for those convoluted calls that we don't have good data on. We got a phone call that came from Madison County, got transferred over, and get another one, and we're getting 3 different locations, and everybody's, near, one's near Grindstone Island, and, one's near one of the other islands on the opposite end of the lake, even though they're the same phone call. So that's what, that'll drastically make a huge difference down there. I know those communities are definitely very, very excited about the program.
Okay. And we're still working on locations up in the North Country?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. We have 2 that we are prepared to, I got to work with Buildings and Grounds to bring up in the Village of Pulaski, will be the next 2 locations. We're waiting on a portable tower to be able to put the airspace monitoring camera up.
Okay. Terrific. Any other questions for Kevin? Mr. Castillo.
First off, Kevin, I want to say, I've been here since 2014, 2015, seen a dramatically great improvement in the 911 center. You know, and I know it's taken you a while to get it to where, you know, it's to that, at that point. The question I have is, Fulton City School District, are they on board?
We've been in communications. They're one of the districts I did not hear back from, but I know they went through a change of superintendent at the beginning of the year, so I've not been in contact with that person, so they're probably still trying to get caught up to speed if I had to guess. So the ones that I have to reach out to, I will make a phone call contact as opposed to just sending an email, because with Chris Todd leaving from City BOCES, I think that was another excellent tool that we had in our back pocket of saying, hey, I have not heard from these school districts, can you kind of bug them for me, and he would take care of that, so.
Okay, see me after, okay. But I want to thank you for what you've done. Thank you. That's all I had for Kevin.
Anything else for Ken? There you go. Let's move on. We have the district attorney. I saw him coming. You got anything to report, sir?
Nothing new at this point, so.
Okay. Any questions for? Hearing none. All right, let's move on. Sheriff, John, you're here. What do we got? Anything new? Anything to report?
We've got our civilian academy down at the police academy in Fulton is going well. Next week is the last week of it. We're getting very positive response or reviews of it. So I think that's a good program. We'll do it again next year. It also has this Wednesday a career night for law enforcement. Usually several other agencies besides us are there trying to recruit people to go into either the college program and or just into law enforcement in general. Our kitchen project, corrections, is I think almost 99% complete. A couple minor things that got to be adjusted, but that went very well, and the kitchen staff is loving it because they no longer have to use things to hold the doors on the ovens closed. And they're cooking better food and faster.
Good. Anything else?
That's about it for now.
Any questions? Mr. Castillo.
Yeah, I've got a few. It may take a few minutes here, but I've been inundated with questions, okay, with recent reports that have been in the news media. And they're asking me for questions because I'm on the committee. And I don't have the answers, so I'm going to ask at this committee what's happening. The one question is, the first one we'll do is a very simple one, is the findings at the jail. Saying that we have to have documentation submitted by December 10th. What it said in the paper. I don't know if that's factual or.
It is.
Okay. The question part of that is, were we informed on this committee about the findings back in 2024? Because that's when the study was started, wasn't it?
We get evaluations every year.
Okay.
The evaluations we work on, working towards getting everything complete. We have never and did not know that this was happening. We've been asking where the report was from June that we didn't get.
Okay, so you didn't get
And
it.
we asked the director himself when he was here for another purpose a month ago, where's the report? He said, I don't know what's holding it up. And for whatever reason, the Corrections Commission decided to bring it to a different level and make it a directive. As far as we're concerned, they're fairly simple things that do need the haircuts. During COVID, inmates started cutting their hair themselves.
Right, because of COVID. Yeah.
And they can do it for free. So they like doing it. If we bring a barber in, if they have money in their commissary account, they pay for haircuts. We were not able, we tried a couple barbers that took over. They came once or twice, didn't want to come back. So we've looked at getting barbers, but we didn't get one. So that's one of the 6 points that they're looking at. And we put a thing on social media. I believe we've got interviews today, this afternoon, for some people coming in to start doing the haircuts. Another one is sergeant that was doing the locks, inspecting the locks, which are the locks we use every day that we know are working, but by regulation, they have to be inspected monthly and logged. He was out on family leave. They didn't get done, I believe, 2 months in a row. And that came to their attention. That's been corrected, and there's now a thing in place that if he's out, or if anybody's out, every month the lieutenants have to sign out that the locks get done.
So the majorities are just clerical administrative oversights. Everything's getting done, just wasn't being documented properly, right?
Yeah, and frankly, I've offered to you, I know twice, to please, you see something like that, call us. It doesn't have to be, public. You can call and come in. Ken Sturts came in last Monday and spent 3 hours with us, looking at every one of these things, and then took a tour of the jail to prove to him at least what we feel will be done in the jail.
And I know you had, John, okay, and my philosophy always has been that I ask questions in public because that way I don't have to tell 25 different people different times. So this way, I've got the answer, you've got the direct answer, and I don't miss anything in what my interpretation is of what's going on. So that's why I bring it out in a public setting as to what the answers are. Because, I didn't, these are the questions that I'm asking today are not questions that I have an answer to. Okay, usually when I ask a question, I already know the answer. These questions I'm asking today, I don't have answers to. So that's why I'm asking them in a public setting, okay? And I'm glad that you're able to answer them the way you did, because then everybody will be able to see what the answers are, and we are addressing it, and you're ready to submit that report by a certain date.
We have a meeting.
Moving on.
We just talked to Rich Mitchell. We will be meeting later this week to go over the draft response and send the entire report back. And again, I feel they're very minor, and I don't understand why at this point the commission would do that. They didn't even send us the report before they turned it into a directive, which is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, but it's not unusual. I mean, it
is unusual because it's never happened before. And
unusual in the sense that they, you thought that they kind of ignored you on that, and just tried to sleep it in on you. But that's the way they do things.
Were you?
This is a public committee hearing?
It is.
Yeah.
Were you?
With CNY Central.
Oh, okay. I know who you are.
Okay.
John, the medical issues that they had, how we, you said that we're WellPath is addressing those. I've always been not a favorite of WellPath. You know that.
I do know that. And again, when I met with Ken Sturts for, I think it was 3 hours last week, we pulled out the stack of the evaluation the very first month WellPath got here, which were the violations that they found previous to that. It was, I believe, 8 or 9 pages. The following 2 years later, when they did the one, which I believe was in 2024, that report was now, I believe, 8 very minor things that have all been addressed. And like I said, that was a 2024 report, so I feel like they've really knocked everything off the list that had to be addressed.
Okay. My feelings on that. I haven't changed at all. The second question that I have is,
I'm sorry, I'm uncomfortable. Can you find another spot? People have to exit now. I don't want to stay
over in that corner over there.
See my bald spot.
Yeah, that's kind of the best side of you, though.
Could be.
All right, any more questions for the sheriff?
I do. I'm not done yet.
You're not done yet? Go ahead.
I'm not. Okay.
Same question.
That was the one question on one issue. Now there's a second issue that was in the paper, okay, or in the news media, okay, and that is the issue with the Cato raid, or whatever they want to call it, okay, where we were involved in that, okay. Is that factual, okay, that we did a stop of 2 different times, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, what people are asking me, why would you stop? Why were they stopped? Okay. Do you have any idea what the reason they're pulled over for? Was there no right-hand turn signal, no headlights,
Without knowing each of the
taillights.
incidents, I don't know, but they were stopped as part of an investigation that we were assisting the Fed for false documents coming at our employees from that.
Hold on. Is that investigation still pending?
No,
Hold on. Let him answer.
No, the report that they did, okay?
Frank, excuse me. Hold on a second. I'm chairing this meeting, right? I asked you to
Yeah, I know
stop.
you're chairing it, okay?
Is it still?
There are still charges pending in that.
There are still charges pending, so I don't think you should be answering questions in a public forum because Frank's asking them. If there's still charges are still pending in a court, this is not, shouldn't be disclosed. Go ahead. It's true, right?
Well,
You don't understand, you don't know, but you.
Well, it was all on the news.
Yeah, but was it brought forth by the government or by somebody else in the news?
It was brought forth by the news.
Okay, well, that doesn't mean it's the government. The government has an obligation to try a case. They don't bring information forward when there's a pending trial.
It's on the news, okay?
That doesn't make it government information. It means it's news information. They can get their news from anybody,
Well,
including you.
the other part of my question is, why would you, perform a search of a car unless there's, due process, a reason to search the car? I mean, there was questions that were in the news that said that we found out this, we found out that, okay? Now, they got that information from, I assume from you guys, or is that not true that, that we found pay stubs and we found this and we found that in the car? And the guy admitted to being he crossed the border twice illegally. I mean, I get pulled over for a turn signal. They don't ask me where I'm going to work, and they don't ask to search my car. And I want to know why we would ask those kind of questions. That's all I'm asking. And
I don't think that's something that should be answered under this forum. It's an ongoing.
Why not?
Because there's, Rich, do I have to explain the law to you? Hey, listen, do me a favor. No, listen to me, Frank. Let me talk. I'm teaching I'm teaching a class on constitutional law. It's free for all people. Why don't you come in and take it next semester, and then you can understand the law.
Rich.
How about that?
I'm asking a question about the Cato stop. It was on the news for 2 days at least, okay? I'm asking a question as to whether the stop, what provoked the stop, and what provoked the search of a vehicle, okay? And it was reported that they found that, okay? So what part of an investigation can't be brought out then? It's already been brought
I'm
out.
explaining to him, Rich, it's been brought out, but not by the government, okay? You cannot discuss the government cannot discuss an ongoing investigation until it's completed. People can talk about it, the news media can talk about it, and you can talk about it, but the government cannot. Is that correct, Rich?
If you'd like to discuss, we're aware of, we can go into executive session and discuss it.
I don't want to go into executive session. Sorry.
Then it's over. Let's move on.
No, we're not, I'm
You
not.
have another
asking
question?
a Yeah,
Ask
I
a
want to know.
question and stop rambling, please.
No,
For the love of God,
Stop
ask a
rambling.
question.
Stop rambling. There's
Ask a
questions
question that
being
can be
asked me.
answered. Ask a
The
question that
questions
can be
you're
answered.
asking to me, sir, now they may not be asking you, okay, but they're asking me, okay? And I'm asking the sheriff,
And you should
okay,
be
the
telling
other
them,
sheriff.
if you understood your job, you would tell them that you can't discuss this stuff in public.
No,
You have another question outside of that for him? Otherwise, we're gonna move on.
sure, I figured you're gonna shut me down sooner or later on this question. I
I'm
knew
not
that.
trying to shut
I
you
knew
down,
that
I'm just
before
trying to
I
follow
even-
the law.
I knew that before I even came in here, sir, that you were gonna shut it down. I knew it.
Good,
Okay.
I'm glad you do it. Then why'd you ask it?
Why do you want to hide anything? Why do you
Nobody's
wanna
hiding anything.
It's the law.
We're
It's the law, right?
responding to
Not-
the AG's
not
office
a-
regarding that.
The investigation, okay, is not into us.
Well, it is from the AG's office, and we are responding, we have deadlines and things to meet in their internal investigation.
Well, hopefully sometime next year, somebody will ask the questions why you did what you did, okay? I'm not saying we did anything wrong. I
We
just
did.
want to know
I can tell you
why,
that.
okay? And
I
this
can tell you
is
that
what-
because the
answers that I
AG's
have to give to the
investigation is
people that are
ongoing.
asking me, John.
Right, and I get that, like
That's
I
all-
said.
all
I'm very
I'm doing.
comfortable with what we did, and we will answer the AG's office, and when that comes out, we'll make all that public. But because it's,
I've always run on
because they
transparency.
started a parallel
and-
investigation, we'll have to wait until we respond to that.
There's a time to be transparent is what I'm saying, right? Now it's not the
Well,
time.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, what you'd like to know isn't available right now to the public, all right? It has to be
it's
released.
out there already. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, let's move on. Probation.
Thanks. Just a few things to add to my report. We are recently notified that our pretrial release grant funding was increased for this year by $160,000. So kind of got to figure out where we're going to spend that because there seems to be some criteria that the state's not giving us clear information on. So we know we're getting more money to spend. We're one of 3 counties chosen to get a grant for what they're calling an interlock non-installers enforcement initiative, which basically is to try to increase the number of people who are supposed to have ignition interlocks on their cars and are not getting them. So we got to look into that. It's supposed to increase enforcement of that. So that'll be good. It's up to 35,000. We have interviews tomorrow to replace a probation officer position. Recruiting still being an issue, so we only have 2 candidates up for the position. So we'll see how that goes. As far as Stop DUI, we went up with a presentation actually at the Citizens Academy up at Bolton, which was nice, and brought our parts and did a thing on Stop DUI. So that was good.
Very good. Any questions for probation?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Dave's brought to my attention that he's received some grant money. And once we figure out how we can apply that, either this year or next year, and what the expenses are and how much can be applied to salaries, which might be able to lower the levy a little bit in 26. I just wanted to, there's a possibility we may have a walk-on resolution on the 11th that would allow us to do that. Just wanted to make sure that can happen.
That's terrific.
But it's good news.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It seems to be was written a little bit differently than what we had last year, so that's why we're just trying to clarify actually how we can spend the money. It's got to be used for pretrial savings, and in the past we used pretty much all of it for salaries for pretrial people who are doing that work. But this amount is actually going to surpass those, so we need to figure out how to use the extra.
We just didn't have those answers for today.
Any questions for probation? Hearing none? I don't think we're getting search and rescue, correct?
Nope, you can make it today. I have a copy of the report if you want me to just highlight.
Sure, please, thank you.
So, in just looking at last year versus this year, so 2024 they had 55 total calls. This year they have 61 year to date. Pretty much you're seeing a rise in calls for autistic. Was only 9 in 24, but it's up to 17 in 2025. So all of their call volume in all their categories has gone up in some respects. Couple mutual aid incidents that they have done year to date, 2 for Broome County at the request of state forest rangers, 1 at Onondaga County at the request of New York Police, 1 in Chenango County at the request of New York State Forest Rangers, another 1 in Onondaga County at the request of Manulus Police, 1 in Warren County at the request of the New York State Forest Rangers. The team conducted 3 searches in November for 268 volunteers. That informational session will take place on December 3rd at the Virgin Volunteer Fire Department to present details regarding upcoming Troop Academy. That's one of the reasons why they had increased some of their funding that they needed for next year was due to their new academy they're running. The team distributed Project Lifesaver information at the Rural Healthcare Fair held in Hastings. And they also delivered a presentation at the Citizens Police Academy in Bolton regarding their collaboration with the Sheriff's Office and Project Lifesaver. If anyone wants a copy of the report, I could have some here, but was unable to make it today.
The classes, that they're going to be doing, that's going to be in January?
Yeah, they have one class, I believe that it's a combination group at Onondaga County. They're both together. I don't know how many people have signed up for it yet, but that's what the informational session is on December 3rd.
Okay, and where do people find out about this class if somebody's interested?
Yeah, I think it's on their website, SewellCountySAR.org, or I can provide them with contact information for Aaron to get a hold of, or they could come for that informational session on December 3rd. Approved by the fire department.
One other thing, I noticed that we have a success story of a drone program where we had a hunter and lost. The helicopter couldn't come out because of the weather, and yet we were able to get a drone out there and use thermal imaging, and we were able to find him within 90 minutes. I thought that's a great success story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was issues with the gentleman's cell phone services. It was dying. so
It was
that-
dying, so he was kind of like, if we didn't find him, he could have been out there for a while.
Absolutely, so.
No, that was very impressive that we're able to, do exactly what this was supposed to be for.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Yes, sir.
Could I get a copy of
Yeah,
that
that's why I
report?
brought some extras. I knew you had some last month.
All right, so before we wrap up, I just want to thank all of you. The advancements, I've been the chairman here for 5 years. I've been on this committee for 6 years, along with a lot of other of you. This is going to be my last meeting. So, Kevin, particularly you, and Kathy, we've made such great advancements with drones and robots and maps and cameras, and I just think it's been, and Dave with probation, we've made some advancements there as well, and the fire corps, all you guys, the sheriff's office, and Nate, you've been coming on board. So I just want to thank all of you for all the hard work that you've done over the last 6 years. I think we've made some great progress. I think we've done a lot of good things for this county. So thank you all, and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you for all your support.
Did I skip Sean? Sorry? Shane, why do you call him Sean?
I don't know,
I'm sorry, Shane?
Shane knows that I am.
Let's make it quick for you.
He's also not on my list.
I'm losing my voice.
Oh, he is on my list.
19 fires, or not, excuse me, 19 activations in the month of October with 6 structure fire, 1 hazmat, 4 fire investigations, 6 new responses, and 2 other. List of classes there. The last bulletin there, tentative scheduling. We're just waiting for the state to get us dates and times to schedule those classes. They will be happening. We're just waiting on the state to approve those. The training center, as of the end of October, we've done 345 classes with 2,433 students put through with 1,381 hours of instruction. A couple classes. I attended the Regional Fire Administrator Conference in the first part of November. Fire investigation seminar was last week, whatever day the Novellas fire was, because I had to leave early. I had to cut that short. I participated in a hot wash, basically a debriefing on the first fire of Novellas. They're having another one tonight on the second fire. As Kevin had mentioned, I had outstanding support from EMO, 911, and the Sheriff's Department. Without their help and coordination, it just made the incident so much better. So I'd like to thank them publicly for that. The nearest training from OFPC, that's kind of like for the committee, but and Kevin can help me speak on this. Basically, we're switching from a state report that the fire department submit to a federal. So this nearest is the National Emergency Response Information System. That's starting January 1st, and there's a lot of ups and downs with it because the federal government's involved. So we're struggling a little bit with that, but the state's working through it with us, and we're not the only place. So, and then thank you for the approval of the Annie.
There you go. I left out our district intern. Awesome job, great job. Traffic diversion, I think, is a wonderful program. So we've done so many good things over the last 6 years. And thanks to all of you. It's been a great success. So thanks, guys. Herbie?
I just want to thank you for running the show.
It's been a pleasure.
Good job.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
That's why you make captain when you get it.
Look for the appropriate motions. Favor? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Kevin, in there.